What I'm telling you has already been said, but we have several advantages here in Argentina, which are the very fast regulatory pathway. We have an unmet clinical need for all the retinal diseases. There is a very strong recruitment capacity of our centers, and all of our centers in Argentina are very experienced since more than 20 years ago. As Mario said before, we have a very high patient retention and very low screen failure. That is what makes us a good choice for our sponsors and CROs. The average approval time in Argentina is quite shorter than other because ANMAT, the regulatory center in Argentina, is one of the most one of the fastest and one of the most experienced centers in regulatory agents in worldwide, I would say. Argentina is about the timeline approval, about half of the time in global, and we are in time fastest than USA and Europe. This is something that is really to be taken in consideration. We also have a very high amount of unmet clinical needs. Our populations, as Mario said before, we have a lot of European patients that have AMD, both wet and dry, and is the leading cause of blindness in patients over 60 years old in Argentina. Diabetic population affects about 12% of the population, and in glaucoma, for example, there is a 3% of the 45 million that are with the disease, and many of them are underdiagnosed. The recruitment capacity is very interesting. Randomization rate is about 60%. There has been more than 94 studies being conducted for the last 20 years in Argentina, and 4 of our centers have been top recruiters. We have about 20-something centers in Argentina, and they've been worldwide top recruiters in several of the study. This is, we take a sample of different cities in Argentina, Rosario, Cordoba, Mendoza, and Buenos Aires, and you can see in the table that the retention is over 90% in all of our different parts of the country, not only in Buenos Aires, but also within the rest of the country. The experience of centers in Argentina, as Mario said before, dates from before the turning of the century, with the first studies that were Macugen, also with some studies in Cordoba in genetics, but most of all, the majority of the centers, we started in 2008 with Rise and Ride, and we have been growing from then on. And all the sponsors, as you see in the listed that is in the lower part of the slide, are very happy with this. In these 4 centers that we took as a sample, had been over 900 patients screened, and these are the sponsors and CROs that trusted us more than 15. This is just a comparison with some other centers in Latin America, and in numbers of trials. Francisco has over 32, which leads the table in Latin America. But Argentine centers, Buenos Aires, Mario Center has near 30. We have 25, Cordoba 24, and Rosario 16 clinical trials that have been going on since we started. The retention, as I said before, is really interesting, above 90%, which is in comparison with Europe and global, very, very, very attractive for all of you people from the companies and for the CROs. The screen failure rate is also quite low, lower than the average in our centers. Wait. So that is why Argentina is could be your ideal partner for clinical trials.